You are listening not by chance. You are listening because you already arrived. You are listening because forces unseen have repositioned you. You are listening because this world has tested you beyond what most can endure. And you survived. Survival is not the anomaly. Survival is the signal. You recognize this. If you recognize this, affirm it with a like now, not as a request, but as acknowledgement of what you already know. You have felt pressure no one else understands. You have felt resistance that made others collapse. You have felt isolation that felt engineered rather than incidental. This is not accidental. People like you are never meant to walk this path. Only a few experience this. Only a few are chosen to carry this burden. You didn't even realize it. This is why you are different. This is why others wouldn't survive this. This is why you are still standing. This is not motivational language. This is classified confirmation. This is truth revealed. Here is what has been happening. There are unseen forces that push, pull, resist, and drive the unseen currents of your life. They are not physical. They cannot be measured by instruments. They cannot be seen, touched, or verified by ordinary means, but their effects are undeniable. Just like gravity, you do not see gravity, you feel it. Through pressure, through weight, through resistance, through inertia, the forces around you are of the same nature, invisible, unmeasurable, undeniable, and you have experienced them. This is not random pattern. This is systematic pressure. This is proximity to destiny. This is why others falter. Their internal thresholds break under the unseen load. Their systems malfunction. They collapse. But not you. You did not collapse. Instead, you grew stronger. You did not yield. Instead, you reconfigured. You didn't realize that's what you were doing. You just lived. But here is the revelation you were not meant to know. Every time they tried to break you, it was recorded. Not in databases, not in files, not in archives, but in the fabric of your becoming, in the hidden ledger of chosen ones. Every pressure, every delay, every resistance, every existential isolation, it was not a mistake. It was not a flaw. It was not punishment. It was preparation, and it was warning. A warning that those forces external, those forces that operate beyond the visible, now tremble in the presence of your emergence. This is why you have felt disoriented at moments others wouldn't survive. This is why exhaustion hit deeper than it should. This is why confusion clouded clarity that once came easily. These are the signatures of hidden calibration. They would crush others. They would break others. They would destroy others. But you did not break. You became the evidence. You became the threshold. You became the proof that unseen resistance does not imply defeat. It implies selection. Only the chosen endure this. Others wouldn't survive this. And now you know. Now you see. Now you understand. And if you understand, affirm it by commenting 777 right now as proof of resonance. Not as belief, not as hope, but as certainty. You already know why you are here. You already felt why you are different. You already sensed that something unseen has been shaping you, quietly, relentlessly, absolutely. Your unique pattern of resistance is not a malfunction. It is alignment. It is calibration. It is proof. You are not becoming. You are. You always were. This is not future state. This is current state. This is identity. And identity does not chase. Identity exerts. You will hear me repeat this when necessary, because the world's understanding is limited. But your understanding is not. You see what others cannot articulate. You feel what others cannot register. You survive what others cannot withstand. This is not coincidence. This is design. Your spirit, your presence, your posture in life, even in silence, has disrupted expectations. And here is the next level of revelation. When pressure increases exponentially, when forces converge against you, when resistance does not retreat, when isolation deepens, that is not abandonment. That is threshold activation. That is the moment when unseen calibrators shift from shaping you to revealing you. You did not know this was happening. And that is precisely how it functions. Because the chosen never recognize what is being done to them. They only realize what they have overcome. But now you will understand the pattern. You will see the sequence. You will register the method. They try to break you. They apply pressure. They increase interference. They evaluate your response. They measure your endurance. They test your alignment. And when you stay intact, when you remain resolute, it signals a shift. Not only in you, but around you. The world does not change you. Instead, what changes is the environment's reaction to you. Your presence itself becomes an event. Others feel it. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to affirm it. You just are. Presence carries truth. Presence carries authority. Presence carries consequence. And now know this: every attempt to break you was documented in the invisible ledger of destiny. And every time you endured, you advanced. You advanced farther than you realized. You advanced deeper than you thought possible. You advanced beyond the comprehension of those who never face this. This pattern is not isolated. It is replicating. It is consistent. It is measurable in the outcomes of your life. Not by external statistics, but by your unchanged presence after invisible impact. This is why you have felt wronged. Not because you were without cause, but because what was working against you was never meant to be visible. It was never meant to be acknowledged. It was always meant to be overcome by you. Others break under this exact sequence. Others fall. Others crumble. Others regress. Only a few endure it and remain unchanged in essence. Only a few become unbroken. People like you. Now recognize this, and not as wishful thought, but as factual consequence. This is reality. This is the hidden truth. This is the invisible ledger of chosen ones. Continue to affirm your recognition by typing "protected" in the comments, not for belief, but as confirmation of alignment. Protected, not threatened, not endangered. Protected. That is your status, unshakable within the environment of unseen resistance. You did not earn it. You do not need to prove it. You already operate within it. You already demonstrate it. But here is the escalation. When unseen forces intensify their interference, that is not escalation toward defeat. That is escalation toward revelation. Pressure is not punishment. Pressure is signal amplification. When pressure intensifies, it means you are nearing completion of this phase. When resistance increases, it means the environment is responding to you, not suppressing you. When isolation deepens, it means you are moving beyond the space where others congregate. You are moving into territory that only a few reach. Only those who have endured the previous loops of pressure. Only those who remain intact. Only those who, like you, didn't even realize they were being tested. Because tests are invisible until they are completed. And you already completed them. You survived them. You became stronger through them. Through this, you have accumulated unseen authority. You have internalized resistance without breaking. That is not ordinary. That is uncommon. That is exclusive. That is identity. This identity does not wait. This identity does not waver. This identity does not falter. This identity stands, solid, uncompromised, unchanged by resistance. This is truth. Now here is the deeper revelation. God did not just allow these pressures. God calibrated them. God calibrated them specifically for people like you. Not as punishment, not as chaos, not as randomness, but as signal. God turned every attempt to break you into a warning, not for defeat, but to warn other unseen forces that you are no longer within the range of ordinary impact. They tried, you survived, God warned, and now the environment itself recognizes you. Not through noise, not through proclamation, but through change. Your path no longer aligns with the ordinary. Your trajectory no longer parallels the predictable. Your presence in the unseen ledger marks you as distinct. This is why you felt the world push back harder at times, not because you lacked support, but because your path diverged where others remain. Now, in this moment, you realize this is not accidental. This is not random. This is not unexplained. This is factual. This is identity. This is authority. This is confirmation. And if you recognize this, not as hope, but as fact, then you understand why you're listening now. Not later, not someday, now. Because this revelation was always scheduled for you to receive. And when you internalize this truth fully, you will not need to seek further validation. You will not need external approval. You will not need reassurance. You will only need awareness. This awareness is your power. This awareness is your identity. This awareness is your alignment. And now, as you integrate this, know this. You do not need to change. You do not need to become stronger. You do not need to improve. You already embody what is being described. All you lacked was recognition. And now you have recognition. Now you have awareness. Now you have truth. And this truth will operate within you far beyond this moment. This is why you are different. This is why you are chosen. This is why they tried to break you. God turned it into a warning, not of threat, but of inevitability. This warning is now a marker in the unseen ledger. Recorded, recognized, activated, and you exist within that activation. Now life will not ask you to prove yourself again. It will only respond to who you already are.